Hi and welcome. Today I have a two-part presentation for you. I want you to stick with me to the end because I have a special bonus offer for you. And just throughout the video, so please stick with me. I entreat you to do that. The first part of today's presentation is about how to get the best out of what you read, and that is reading for maximum impact. The second part of the presentation is going to be about how to study, and in this short video I'm going to show you how to get the best out of what you read and how to prepare to pass exams and be a good student wherever you find yourself. I have been a student for over 2.5 decades of my life. I am still a student, and I have learned and picked some techniques along the way which have been beneficial for me on staying on top or being among the top students in my class throughout my studies as a student. And so let's dive right in. The first thing I want you to do, if this is your first time or if you are joining me but you haven't yet subscribed to my channel, I entreat you to do so. Please click on the red button down here. Yes, click on the subscribe button and don't forget to click on the bell icon. That way, once I post a new video, you get the notification, and I am posting a video every other day on my channel. Once you are done with this, don't forget to look around and watch the other videos I have here. So without wasting your time, let's get into today's video. The first thing you have to do if you want to get the best out of what you read is to read what you are comfortable with. When I say read what you're comfortable with, I'm not saying that ignore the hard stuff and read the easy things. No, what I'm saying is there are lots of categories of books. There are lots of journals of books, and there are lots of different kinds of books, and you need to know what you love to read or what you're passionate about. I love to read personal development books, history books, biography books, autobiography, and sometimes some science fiction. But you wouldn't find me reading books about romance, aliens. Like I don't like these kind of things, and so you wouldn't find me reading them even at my leisure hours. And so the first thing I'm saying is read what you're comfortable with. If you love to read science fiction, romance books, adventure books, history, black history, white history, whatever kind of books you love to read, go with those ones. It is easy for you to learn and imbibe lessons when you're reading what you're comfortable with. But just to say this is not going to be possible with academic work. I can't say I don't like anatomy, so I'm not going to read it, or I don't love studying physiology, so because I'm not comfortable with that, I'm not going to do that. No, if you are studying for academic purposes, you have to study what is required, and this is not what I'm talking about. I am talking about books that you are reading for knowledge, for pleasure, for entertainment, to help other people, for understanding. And this is not going to work if you are reading for academic purposes. You can choose what you're comfortable with. And when I say what you're comfortable with, I'm not just talking about the genre of books, but I'm also talking about the format, the way, or the manner in which you read. There are ebooks, there are hard paper books, there are paperback books, there are audio books. You can read with groups or partners or alone. Ebooks now come on mobile phones, tablets, laptops, computer. Some people say audiobooks and ebooks are not rare books, but I don't agree. I disagree, because reading a book is about getting information into your mind, and until we are able to perfect transfer of information by osmosis, whereby you can just put a book on your head and the information will get to your mind, we always have to find one way or the other to get knowledge into our brains. And if you can do that by reading a book or by listening to it or by flipping through your phone, I see no wrong with that. You can do it any way you are comfortable with. So if you love to listen to books instead of reading, go ahead. Make sure you are not distracted, but you are getting the substance of the knowledge. And so however you do it, however comfortable you are, make sure you go with that. And once you do that, let's say you want to read 10 books before the year ends. So you want to make a list of books that you will read. Begin by choosing a genre. What type of books do you want to read? What categories? If you want to read personal development books, choose it. If you want to read history books, choose it. If you want to read sports book, if you want to read romance, if you want to read science fiction, choose a genre. Once you are done, make a list. Number 1, I want to read Becoming Your Dream by Rudolph Mensah. Or number 2, I want to read Destiny by T.D. Jakes. Number 3, I want to read Mindset by Carol Dweck. So whatever books you want to read, make a list of books or make a list of titles that you want to read. Once you are done, it brings you to the next level to get the best out of what you read. That is Make sure you number your books in order of preference. That is, if I have the chance to read just one book by the end of the year, out of the list that I have made, which one would I want to read first? Put that on top of your list. You never know what will happen, and starting from something that you really want to read will give you the momentum to keep going even when you don't want to continue. And before we continue, I made a list of 30 books to read before you turn 30 years, and I've left a link in the description. Please make sure to click it and watch it once you are done with this. Thank you, and let's move on to the next level. Once you have a list of books you want to read, the first thing you have to do is to create a reading schedule. You can't just wake up and pick a book I feel like reading today. No, that is not how to do it. You can't just brush your teeth once in a while and expect that you won't get tooth decay. You can't just read once in a while and expect that your mind won't decay. So if you want to get the best out of what you're reading, make sure you have a schedule. You are sticking to a plan. And how do you do that? You first have to determine how much time you need to read and which readings will be best for you based on the titles you've listed. Rank your reading list based on which ones you believe are the most important and relevant to your needs. For example, if you're preparing for exams, then you don't have to spend time reading love or romance books, but read books that are going to be the resource you need to write your exams. And if you start reading a topic which is new to you, make sure you start with something basic, the introductory test, then work your way up to more advanced materials. Once you finish that, make sure your schedule is effective. How do you do that? You have to create columns for your titles, how many hours or minutes you are going to spend reading, when you are starting and when you are finishing, and even a place for your remarks and observation. Without tracking yourself and staying accountable to what you are doing, it will be very difficult for you to read. Be specific about the number of pages you can cover each day and set a deadline for finishing each book based on the deadline you've set for yourself, and stay accountable to yourself. Also, you have to be realistic about what you can accomplish. It would be nice to say, I want to read 10 books in this academic term as a student, or you want to say, I want to read 100 books, 100 books in the year 2020. But can you? You don't have to say things to impress other people or impress even yourself. You need to be realistic about what you want to read, and based on that, it is time for you to create the schedule. There's an example of a schedule that I use. So my book titles go here, and then the duration, how many days I have to spend, how many hours or minutes when I'm starting, when I'm finishing, and the remarks that I write at the end of reading the book. You have to duplicate this for every book you read, for all the books you are reading, to keep track and stay accountable to yourself and to your reading timetable. Once you are done, it is time for you to set a goal. Why are you reading, or what do you hope to get at the end of you reading the book? Leave your comments in the comment section. So, to the second part of today's presentation, I'm excited about it because I'm going to share some things with you that is going to revolutionize your reading habit on how to get the best out of what you study or the books you read. The first thing you have to do if you want to get the best out of what you're reading or be impactful with your studies, you need to take notes. And I do note taking a lot, either by pencil, by a pen, by highlighters. I have different ways of taking notes, and once you start reading, it is a good idea to keep organized notes about what you have read. This will be helpful if you need to revisit some information at a later date, especially if you have to prepare for exams. Ideally, your notes will provide the information you need, so you won't need to go back to the original source. This is not only going to save you time, but it gives you an idea of the most important points you need to pay attention to. So if you are reading a book that you are going to be examined on, don't just read the whole thing and just go page by page. No, make sure you are highlighting, you are writing down the important points you are noticing as you study. How do you take notes? I know I'm saying take note, but the question is, how do you do it effectively? And for you to take effective notes, you need to capture important ideas and salient points, and not just all the minor details. And how do you do that? Pay attention to the words that have been highlighted, the ones that are bolded, the ones that are in italics, the ones that are underlined. Look at the chapter title, look at the numbered points, look at highlighted definitions or the use of charts, graphs, tables, figures. These things are put in that format to attract your attention and to let you know that this is important, this is important, this is important, this is also important, this one is important, this one is important. So pay attention to it. So these are the things that you have to write in your note. And once you do that, you can use administrative devices like note card, binder tabs, or any way to trace your information later. Research has shown that effective note taking also helps you to better understand and remember what you study or read. So make sure you do that effectively. The next thing you can do after you take notes or taking notes is highlight. I'm just showing an example of how I highlight in my book. This is a book by T.D. Jakes called Destiny, Stepping into Your Purpose. And this chapter here is about you will win if you don't quit. And there's something here that I thought was so catching, so I had to highlight them. I'm going to read it for you. It says, destiny is a long distance race where endurance is the key to winning. You see, there are a lot of things below that, but even though those things are all essential, I believe this thing here, this sentence I just read to you, is something I have to remember every day. I have to remember that becoming my dream or reaching my destiny is a long distance race, and I need to endure to win. That means I don't have to give up, I don't have to get tired. And if you go through, there are lots of things that come through. Another thing I highlighted down here is mentors can often advise you regarding actions that you may not be productive payoff. And I believe this is an important statement, and so I had to highlight it. And so what I'm saying is that for you to get the best out of what you're reading or make an impactful study, you need to highlight the salient points. You can't do this, however, with library books and books that you borrowed. If you take somebody's book, you can do that, but these are my books, so I can highlight them anywhere I want. So what I'm saying is, and it is even easier to write notes when you highlight them. So now if I want to make notes and I pick this book, all I'm going to do is write down the things that I've highlighted, because these are the important points that I need to go back to. So whenever I open a page and I see that I've highlighted certain things in the page, it is telling me that this is important, this one is important, this one is also important. So yes, let me write these things down. And so it becomes very necessary for me then to know what is important and what I can ignore for now. But the challenge is sometimes you want to highlight everything, because maybe I love everything in the book, so I just keep highlighting. So don't do that. Just highlight the things which are important. How do you move from then after you've created your schedule and everything? You need to choose a reading time. You have to set aside an exact period of time each day for reading. Whenever I get home in the evening, I sit right here in front of my small bookshelves, and for 1 hour I have to read. When I wake up in the morning and I'm going to the washroom, sometimes I even take a book into the washroom and sit there for 15 minutes or 30 minutes in the morning and read. And so I need to maximize my time however way I do it. So, and I do it every day, so it has become habitual. It might be 10 minutes or an hour, and do everything with the book and try as much as possible to read at the same time each day. That's what you have to do to build that habit. If you persist, it will then become habitual. After a while, you don't have to struggle to do it. It would become automatic for you. And then you have to stick to your timetable. Unless you must, don't skip the selected time. If I have to read 4 to 5, then something happens and I don't do that, I have to make sure that I find another time to redeem the time that I've missed. And so don't miss, because once you keep missing the time, you are going to stop yourself. And you have to remember that to accomplish any goal, you must put in the time and the effort required. It is not going to be easy, and there is no way around this. If you are serious about your reading goals, then you must read regularly. You just don't read without evaluating, and like, yeah, I just don't finish the book. Hey, I finished another book and I put it down, and then maybe I pick another one. Let me go back to this. No, I need to ask myself, what did I learn from this book? What new information do I have? How do I apply this new knowledge? How can it transform my thinking, my living, my work, my school? It needs to have an impact. You just don't read for reading's sake. Read for transformation's sake. Read for application. Read for changing your life and the life of those around you. If you're just reading for accumulation of knowledge and information's sake, it's just like eating without digesting or growing. It doesn't make any sense. So do that by going back to your schedule, making sure you stick to it. You read the time you said you're going to read. Go back to your notes and pay attention to write. You wrote it down. Assess yourself, and now you can go back to the schedule and write in the remarks or the reservation column what you think about what you read and the things you learned from what you read. The last thing I'm going to talk about is, why do you read? And I want you to answer this in the column section. I have 4 answers here. Do you read for academic success? Leave it in the comment section. Are you reading for self-development or personal development? Leave it in the comment section. Are you reading because you want to gain the knowledge you need or the wisdom you need or require to help other people? Leave it in the comment section. Or is it for pleasure and entertainment? Maybe you just love to read romantic books or science fiction or anything that you love to read. Leave it in the comment section. There are other people like myself who read for based on all of the above reasons. So if you are reading because you are reading for academic success, if you are reading because you are reading for academic success, self-development or personal development, because you want to help other people, or because you want to entertain yourself, leave all of the above in the comments. I want to hear from you. I really want to hear from you. Let's make this interactive. Why do you read? Why do you read? Respond in the comment section why you read. And if you have specific questions regarding reading, studying, if you have a challenge studying or preparing for exams, you want to talk to me, let me know how I can help. I don't know how, but maybe if you tell me about it, I may be able to offer you some suggestions or advice. So this is it for today's video. I hope you can go back to it and just watch it again and again to get the insights. I'm also going to leave a link to this presentation in the description so you can download it and take your time and go through the things I've shared with you. So that will be it, guys. Let me hear from you in the comment section. Why do you read? For academic success, for personal development, to help other people, for pleasure, entertainment, all of the above. And make sure you subscribe to my channel and share with your friends and family. And don't forget to click on the bell icon. That way, you are going to get notifications anytime I upload a new video. Thank you for sticking by up to this point. Make sure you check out the video on the 30 books to read before you turn 30. And also, you can find the PowerPoint presentation in the link in the description. Thank you so much and see you in the next video. Bye-bye.